Alright, hello and welcome to another video. So I'm doing a magic video this time, and I think my last video was a magic video. Yeah, so it's not a Magic Online video. This is actually like a deck tech video, and it's a control deck. I'm calling it Jeskai Wolves. So I'm not really good at making decks. I consider myself fairly good at the game. I don't consider myself good at making decks. I've only made like 3 decks, and if anything, this being one of them. So if anything, those other 2 decks I made, they were actually just took kind of a shell of more expensive, more like, standard or modern like decks. Like I have a Grixis control deck that I made myself, but it had a few cards from like, that I could afford from a really good Grixis control deck, but just had some other things that I kind of liked added in there. And then like I made a Mardu Demonic Angels deck where I wanted to play like Angels, but I actually saw someone who made a Rakdos aggro deck, and it was actually got a lot of demons in it. So I kind of figured, what if I made an Angels demon deck? And it actually runs pretty well. But still, like I said, there was still a shell of like Rakdos in there and some Angels in there that I kind of took ideas from other decks and kind of milled them together in my own personal deck. In this, it's kind of just putting in spells that are generally good in current Jeskai decks. Anticipate, very good. Glimmer Genius, extremely good. Glimmer Genius, actually a very good card draw, like, because years ago he had cards like Sphinx's Revelation, which were just like overwhelming. I actually have a blue-white control deck that I think was played. That was played. I have the exact same 75 from the blue-white control deck that was played by the guys in the guy who won Magic 2015 championship. I don't know where it was at, but I actually have that, and that's one of the reasons I kind of got into control decks in the first place. But anyway, the reason I made this is because when I go to F&M, all my friends are playing like standard decks, and I am forced to play my Grixis control deck, which is it could be Frontier or it could be Modern. It really didn't matter. There's only like maybe like 5 cards in there out of the 60 that are not standard legal, and everything else is standard legal. So they're always like, oh, you need to get a standard deck. I'm like, alright, sure, I'll get a standard deck. So I figured I would put this together. This is Jeskai Wolves, like I said. It's pretty much a Jeskai control deck with some flavor, some wolves, which they're actually good wolves. The game plan is to pretty much get out these cards, pretty much any of these actually. Thing in the Ice, Brawl, Avacyn, but get out cards like Assembled Alphas. So it says when Assembled Alphas blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, it deals 3 damage to that creature and its controller. So it's just an amazing card. It's got defensives by itself, but you want to protect it with your counter spells and your removal. Same thing for Wolf and Devil Breach. It does pretty much the same thing as Assembled Alphas, except you can pay 2, discard a card, and it'll deal damage via creature of the discarded card's cost. So if you discard, let's just say Chandra, because you can meet her 6, that's 6. You could pretty much clear a blocker and then hit it for 5. It's insane, because this is before blockers, so it's very good. Thinking Nice in our win condition. I actually won via my Grixis control deck at F&M the other day via flipping 2 things in the ice. So that was fun. Avacyn, just generally good. She's very good. You could even flip her if one of your guys dies. Flash Flying Vigilance, just good. Running 5 counter spells. There are more in here if you're running up against a mirror, like another control deck. So you could run it and put in another Void Shatter if you're up against another control deck. Maybe some card draw to get your counter spells. If you're up against maybe like a tokens deck or a mid-range deck, then you got to send upon the Sinful Fumigate. I even put a Fumigate in here. Radiant Flames, put another copy in here if you want to move more in there. There's more removal. I'm not sure why I actually have 2 Harness Lightnings in there. I probably should remove one, but more card draw. Pretty much just a lot of good things in here. Don't worry, I'm looking out for those artifact decks. Let's see here. I originally ran like I think 8 wolves. Now I ran it down to 5. Like I put in a Scourge Wolf. Simprotter. Oh my god, Simprotter is such a good card. Scourge Wolf. This is just generally a good card. I ran I think 4 of these, 4 of Assembled Alphas, and then 4 of these. And that was like what I had, but I had like 10 spells and like 18 creatures, so I kind of dibbled it down because I needed, it's a control deck. So, but yeah, game plan: Dovin Bond, I just threw him in there for some cool flavor. Because if you ult him and him, that can be bad if your opponent's playing. If you deal with your opponent's creatures, especially if they have just 2 creatures out, and man, is it good to ultimate him when they've tapped out all their lands and played all their creatures, because the next turn they can only untap 2 of those lands, and the next turn when they attack with other creatures they can only tap maybe a creature in a land. That's just Dovin Bond's pretty powerful. He's not really that effective against like control decks though, considering they don't, because like it's hard to explain, but control decks don't really need to have that much mana untapped to do what they're doing, like counter spells 3, and the next turn you can untap 2. Like I said, it is hard. This deck, if I got Dovin Bond, it'd be hard for me because I can only untap a couple of my permanents. Yeah, got a quarantine field to deal with pretty much enchantments and artifacts and pretty much anything else. Stasis Snare, definitely a good removal spell. Yeah, it's pretty much the deck. Like I said, get out your creatures, defend them, pretty much just a classic control deck. Or if you want, pretty much actually what this is just a control deck. You defend mid game, or early game I mean. Late game, you get these guys out, and you still want to defend them, and you win. That's pretty much all you do. But yeah, if you want to check me out on Tapped Out, I'm Great Doom. That's me. I think, yeah. So I only have like 5 decks. Crixus Control, this is what I currently play in Modern, or Frontier if you want to say in Frontier. Mardu Demonic Angel is another deck I play in Modern. Blue-White Control, this is not really a good deck. Like I said, I actually have a Blue-White Control deck from the finals of Magic 2015. And then Esper Control, I named it, this is back when I was a scrubboard, I didn't know anything about the game. I just named it White, Blue, Black Control, but it's basically Esper. Grixis, Jeskai Wolves just made today. But yeah, check out my profile. Check out Jeskai Wolves. This will be about, if you're buying for online, about $90, maybe 91 tickets right there. If you're buying like via Out of Cards or TCG Player, if you're buying for paper Magic, rounded up to about 130, 128 if you want to be accurate. But if anything, you can consider it budget. It's not as expensive. It's a standard, like I said right here, standard legal. It could ideally be very good. I really don't know. I have not played it yet because I just made it today. But I thought I'd do a deck tech on it to bring more attention to it. Like I said, you know, help is very welcome. Suggestions, all that stuff. So if you guys maybe see anything that I'm doing wrong that I could add or change, let me know. I would very much appreciate that. Leave comments, all that good stuff. But yeah, most of all, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you guys later.